You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah.
Please welcome Joe Reardon, President and CEO of the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our ATHENA Awards reception. We hope you had a great time with our virtual networking via Remo. It's a pretty cool tool, and some of you have used it, I'm sure, but you might be new, and the good news is we're going to go back into networking after the program. One of the best parts of a chamber event, I think you all could agree, is the networking. And even though we have to have the networking virtual today, the connections everyone are making are very real. We're so excited to honor two outstanding members of our community, Karen Daniel and Chelsea Laub, recipients of the Chamber's 2020 ATHENA Awards. Karen and Chelsea, congratulations to both of you, and thank you for your continued service and leadership to our greater Kansas City. With all the challenges and struggles we've seen this year, it's important to recognize people like Karen and Chelsea in our community who are working tirelessly to lift up others. That's what we are celebrating today. This award is named after Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, courage, and intelligence. The ATHENA Award is presented to someone who works to advance women in leadership roles. There are three criteria. Honorees must have shown exemplary professional excellence. They must have given time and energy to bettering their community, and they have to have actively assisted women in realizing their full leadership potential. Believe it or not, this is our 20th ATHENA Awards event at the Chamber, and we are very honored to be part of the ATHENA community. And speaking of community, Kansas City has one of the most supportive communities around. A special thanks to our presenting sponsors for this event, Bank Midwest and KPMG. Thank you for your continued support of events like this ATHENA Awards ceremony. It's now my pleasure to introduce two members of our Executive Women's Leadership Council. Please welcome Polly Thomas, Chair of the EWLC and President of Employee Benefits at CBiz, and Mary Jane Judy, Vice Chair of the EWLC and co-managing partner at Pulcinelli.
Thanks, Joe. It has certainly been an interesting and eventful year since we gathered to celebrate a year ago today. The Executive Women's Leadership Council is so proud to continue to celebrate the ATHENA Awards this year. We won't let the pandemic stop us from celebrating two amazing women. We'll just celebrate it in a different way this year. The EWLC is now in its 8th year and remains focused on promoting the visibility and advancement of women in leadership positions, advocating on behalf of women in business, and instilling best practices and idea sharing so that women can succeed in business. While this year has presented unusual challenges, it's also presented an opportunity to realize how strong and important our community of women leaders is.
That's true. And the purpose really is more important now, more than ever during the pandemic. In some sectors, unfortunately, we're seeing working women take a bigger hit in terms of their careers. And we know that most women at home have taken on additional roles, especially those working mothers that are kind of balancing, whatever that means, virtual schooling with the demands of their own job.
These demands make it more important than ever for the EWLC to continue to support women and working leaders, but it also presents an opportunity for the next generation and for our children to see us juggling multiple things and overcoming challenges and obstacles through the support of our mentors and our community. It does take a village after all.
That's true. And the EWLC will keep championing women leaders more than ever. In fact, in this year, in 2020, we've had successful small business networking events, even virtually, to help keep women connected. Our EWLC supporters make it possible for us to provide scholarships to some of the women that are participating in Centurions, which is one of the Chamber's most strongest programs. Since March, we've strengthened our support for leadership development through virtual programs with Centurions and Gen KC. We're proud to be a part of those events.
We've continued to be a place to support women executives where we can gather and have candid conversations around what we can learn from each other during these challenging times, how we continue to support moms, and how we can continue to advocate for diversity and inclusion in our businesses. Women have long proven that a major source of our strength and our resilience is our willingness and ability to support each other. And we'd like to introduce you to a woman who does just that. She's a former Young ATHENA Award winner, a Centurion alum, and a former member of the Executive Women's Leadership Council. Please let me introduce Marshawn Butler, Vice President of Clinical Support Services and Chief Diversity Officer for Children's Mercy Hospital.
Thank you, Polly, for that kind introduction. I'm Marshawn Butler, the 2014 Young ATHENA honoree. It seems like it was yesterday. I was asked to share a few remarks with you today and also offer a few words of advice for our honorees. I will begin with a quote by the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If you want to be a true professional, do something outside of yourself. This quote reflects the essence of the Young ATHENA Leadership Award, which is presented to emerging women leaders across professional sectors for exemplary leadership in their profession and in the community. It represents women leaders who do something outside of themselves to advance professionally and create impact. I will share a little bit about my ATHENA journey and how I've aimed to be that type of leader within the healthcare profession and throughout Kansas City, always daring to do something outside of myself. Since 2014, I've helped expand Children's Mercy's footprint within the region, leading efforts to establish a presence in neighboring markets in Wichita, Joplin, St. Joseph, and Junction cities. Operations has been my focus. However, when extended the opportunity to develop new tools for my toolkit and leverage my business acumen and negotiating skills to establish those medical practices, I stepped right in for the chance to do something outside of myself, learning new service lines, new markets, and collaborating with new partners. Most recently, when asked to lead the diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, I served in an expanded role as the hospital's first Chief Diversity Officer. While an interim role, it provided me the opportunity to once again do something outside of myself. Always an advocate for diversity and passionate for health and race equity, I found myself serving my organization and the community in a way that was needed at a pivotal time when the core of our nation was fractured once again by devastating racial and social injustices. This role required a humble yet bold approach to position our organization against those racial injustices. Outside of my normal comfort zone, outside of my comfort zone of leading teams and focusing on operations, I once again did something outside of myself, leading through the chaos, offering hope and unity, and fostering a sense of peace. Personally, service to others has always been one of my guiding principles. I have continued to serve on boards for not-for-profit organizations, support scholarship opportunities, and found ways to roll up my sleeves and dig in to make a difference. Whether serving on a board or a civic council or providing one-on-one mentorship, I've strived to be of service and support to others, especially women. As a Young ATHENA awardee, I recognize how essential it is not to only lift women up, but also propel them to be true and to do something outside of themselves. I'm inspired every day by the phenomenal women leaders to be my best. Many are joining us here today. It is reassuring that one can often look around and does not have to look very far to see an ATHENA leader leading the way. It is necessary now more than ever for women leaders to develop their personal legacies of strength, fortitude, and leadership, like others such as Ruth Bader Ginsburg have left for us. And as we recognize and congratulate both Karen Daniel and Chelsea Laub, let me offer this reminder that the delivery of small acts of kindness and service leads to grand acts of confidence and courage for others. My advice is to be unwavering, audacious in doing something outside of yourself. Challenge and motivate yourself to lead outside of your own comfort zone. Be inspired by the Greek goddess Athena, again, who is known for her strength, her courage, her wisdom, and enlightenment. Use this inspiration to be more, to do more, and to serve more. It will not only benefit you personally and professionally, but you too will establish your legacy. So again, congratulations to Karen and Chelsea.
Please welcome Nicole Van Dennebiel, President of Bank Midwest.
Thank you, Marshawn. I'm honored to represent Bank Midwest this afternoon. My name is Nicole Van Dennebiel, President of Bank Midwest. We have been a presenting sponsor of the ATHENA Awards for 5 consecutive years because our organization is a strong supporter of the empowerment and advancement of women. In the Bank Midwest market, we are proud that 54% of our senior leadership team is made up of women. We believe in acting intentionally to develop and promote strong female leaders. Supporting this event is meaningful to us because, similar to the award winners, we're committed to empowering women and giving them what they need to lead, innovate, and grow. While strides have been made for women in the workplace over the past few decades, this year's pandemic risks hurting the progress that's been made, which is why it's more important than ever to champion women in our community and help them reach their full potential. Our award winners this afternoon are shining examples of this great work. Not only have they excelled in their own professional achievements, they have also been intentional in their actions to develop and empower other women. As you hear their stories and the difference they have made in our community, I hope you are inspired to find ways to provide growth opportunities for the women in your organizations and networks. Now it's time for our first honoree of the afternoon. Chelsea Laub is the president of Crossroads Wealth Management. She specializes in empowering women to take control of their financial lives. Chelsea also works to bring together the next generation of Kansas City's female leadership through an organization she founded called Underground Social. Here are a few quotes from those who nominated Chelsea for this prestigious award. Chelsea exemplifies what it means to be a woman empowering women. She has a passion for building up a positive culture for all women in Kansas City. Chelsea embodies the criteria for the Young ATHENA to her core. To learn more about this year's Young ATHENA, here's Kaylee Knox to explain more in this video.
Chelsea embodies the criteria for the ATHENA Young Professional Leadership Award to her core. As the president of her own business and a women's leadership group called Underground Social KC, as a member of the Big Brothers Big Sisters Most Wanted and ACES intern program, and also as a wife, a mother, a sister, and friend, she demonstrates what it means to strive for excellence, creativity, and initiative in our community. Since the first time I met her, she stood out to me as a great role model and influencer, not just for other professionals, but for our KC community as a whole.
It is my pleasure to present the 2020 ATHENA Young Professional Leadership Award to Chelsea Laub.
Hello, thank you. I just want to start off by saying that I'm so honored to be receiving the Young ATHENA Award from the Chamber this year. I want to start off by thanking the women who nominated me for being such great friends and advocates and supporters of me over all these years, and to Kaylee for all of her great things to say. The Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce and the EWLC, thank you for providing the platform to acknowledge and celebrate the efforts being made for women in our community. It truly is such an honor to be part of this, and I know that selection could not have been easy. I want to thank the selection committee for their time and effort in reviewing all the applications and nominations. I know that there were a ton of very qualified women who are doing really incredible things in our community. And so I truly am, again, very honored to have been selected to be this year's Young ATHENA. I'd also want to make sure to thank the women, the Young ATHENA and the ATHENA Award winners from past years. You've absolutely laid the groundwork in Kansas City for and beyond Kansas City for women like me to come in and be able to build and continue that work. And of course, I want to make sure to thank my mentors and sponsors in my life who continue to love and support me in all of my crazy endeavors and new ideas. None of this is possible, so thank you so much. Back in 2014, I know some of you guys might remember this commercial that was on TV, and there was Always did a commercial called Like a Girl, where they asked teens and adults to do things, quote, like a girl. So they had them run like a girl or throw like a girl or fight like a girl. And all of the teens and adults, they did so like really very weakly and flippantly, like a girl was an insult. But when they asked young girls to do the same thing, they ran and they threw and they fought confidently and with zeal and zest. And I remember watching this commercial when it came out and then rewatching it again recently and being so saddened by it, because there's something that happens to girls' confidence as we get older that makes them feel less worthy or less capable. And without that confidence, women are missing out on career opportunities. They don't have the courage to stand up for themselves, or they begin putting everyone else's needs ahead of their own. They accept treatment they don't deserve, whether in relationships or in their jobs, and their mental health takes a hit. So I'm so grateful for the women and men in our community who are working to build up women and girls. And I've been very fortunate in my life to have been surrounded by strong female leaders, as well as men who support women unconditionally. And so I believe that it's my job, as someone who's been very fortunate with the mentors that I've had in my life, to go out and help other girls and women with this same thing and help build their confidence, whether it's through teaching girls about mental health or how to dress in the workplace, or how to manage your money, which is such an empowering thing, or how to advocate for yourself, or just being an example of what it really is like to be like a girl. We want that to be something empowering and exciting, not something that talks about weakness and inability. So I want to encourage everyone on this call and at this event to take someone to coffee, invite someone to an event that you want to lift up and mentor, someone who you want to build their confidence. All of these things matter. It doesn't take a lot to make a really big impact on a girl's life or on a woman's life. It just takes a couple people in your corner to know that you can do it. I'm a big believer that you can have and do it all, but I also believe that you can't have and do it all alone. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Creating community with other women has been the foundation for everything I've been able to achieve so far, and I am nowhere near done. And I'm very, very thankful to everyone who has been supportive of myself and of the different causes that we've helped put together in Kansas City. And just very, very excited. Thank you again so much for this opportunity. I am truly honored and very humbled to receive this award. There's so much more to come. Thank you.
From KPMG, please welcome Managing Partner Stephen Penn.
Congratulations, Chelsea. Thank you. Those great comments. You're a remarkable professional and a real inspiration to all of us. So congratulations again. We're fortunate that you called Kansas City home. Good afternoon. I'm Stephen Penn. I'm managing partner at KPMG. And it's a real pleasure to be here today as a presenting sponsor for the 2020 ATHENA Awards. And we are proud of our long-standing sponsorship of the ATHENA since the award's founding. For nearly 20 years, we have coordinated our efforts to empower women through our KPMG network of women, or KNOW. Those efforts include big events like this week's sponsorship of the Women's PGA Championship, and yesterday we hosted our annual Women's Leadership Summit, where Condoleezza Rice was a keynote speaker. And while those are very visible and important events, we also know it's important to invest in women at all ages, at all walks of life. For us, it starts in pre-K when we get books into the hands of some young children through our Family for Literacy program. We prioritize our support of our communities with a focus on lifelong learning. Our goal is to prepare the next generation of women leaders. We are also committed to celebrating the achievements of strong women in our community. And that's why all of us are excited to celebrate the achievements of these two incredible women today. And that's especially true for our next recipient. Karen Daniel holds a special place in the hearts of all of us at KPMG as an alumnus of our firm and as a dear friend. We are so excited and proud to be part of this important award and this momentous recognition of our friend, Karen. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from just a few of the nominators what they had to say as we watch this short video.
Hi everyone, I'm John Kemper. I'm the CEO of Commerce Bankshares, and I am so happy today to be able to congratulate Karen Daniel on receiving the 2020 ATHENA Award. Strength, courage, wisdom, and enlightenment, well, that is just Karen in a nutshell. In my mind, Karen epitomizes the ideals associated with the ATHENA Award. Her tireless devotion to the Kansas City community, her steady mentorship and advocacy on behalf of rising female leadership, her unwavering commitment to excellence in her professional career, these things have made her a role model for so many. I know firsthand the efforts that she's undertaken to mentor young women leaders in our company, and I know that everything Karen touches is better for it. So I'm fortunate to count her as a friend, and Kansas City is fortunate to rank her among its most important and impactful leaders. Karen, congratulations.
Karen is the embodiment of ATHENA. Women Inc. magazine named her to its most influential list of corporate board directors. She has served on numerous public and philanthropic boards of directors. She was the first African-American chairwoman of the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce. And Kansas City Business Journal named her its CFO of the Year, not once, but twice. She's a woman who means business, and she's created a number of leadership opportunities for women. Rosa Parks said each person must live their life as a model for others, and that memories of our lives, our works, and our deeds will continue in others. Karen Daniel leaves that legacy through every endeavor she's touched, and through every one of us who has witnessed her leadership. Congratulations, Karen, on this well-deserved recognition.
Hi, I'm Kevin Barth.
And I'm Erin Stuckey.
We are privileged and honored to co-nominate Karen Daniel for the 2020 ATHENA Leadership Award. Karen, we congratulate and applaud you on this well-deserved recognition by the Kansas City business community.
Kansas City is a better place to live because of Karen's vision and passion. Karen is a respected champion for people of color, women, and children. She is a catalyst for change and a lifelong advocate for inclusivity.
Karen, we thank you for decades of leadership and service.
Please join us in toasting Karen and celebrating her impact in our community. Congratulations, Karen.
Hi, my name is Dana Foote, and I'm a partner at KPMG, and I'm very proud to be here in honor of Karen today. As Steven mentioned earlier, Karen Daniel is a former member of our KPMG family, and she served in our governmental, manufacturing, banking, and not-for-profit industries. But then she went on to make an incredible impact on Black Veatch, where she retired as the Executive Director, Chief Financial Officer, and President of the Global Finance and Technology Solutions Division. She was also a member of their board of directors at Black Veatch. In that time, I was very honored and lucky to serve as her audit partner at Black Veatch for many of those years with Karen, and personally saw the huge impact she made there in business, in their processes, in their vision, but most importantly, in their people. She was a role model. Others have said this too, but a role model to so many and a mentor to many women, including me. She's incredibly involved in the community, as many people already indicated today. She was the chair of the KC Chamber Board in 2017. She held board positions with the Greater Kansas City Community Foundation, Women's Employment, and others. Karen is also a past president of the Kansas City, Missouri Parks Board and led $80 million restoration of Liberty Memorial. But it's not just her resume that makes her an Athena, as we just saw and heard from her nominators. It is my distinct pleasure to announce the 2020 ATHENA Leadership Award recipient to Karen Daniel. Thank you so much, Karen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for this ATHENA Award, and I also want to give a special thanks to my friends and colleagues that nominated me. The Executive Women's Leadership Council, the Selection Committee, who all made this happen. I also want to thank those who were involved in my professional career and my community service. They are my mentors, my sponsors, the wonderful teams that I worked on. And I'm especially proud of the women that I had a chance to work with at Black Veatch and on the boards that I served. It's been an incredible honor to work with them and see them grow and be part of their growth, and for them to also help me become a better leader and a better person. So thank you very much for that. I want to give a special thank you to my amazing family. For those of you who know me, you know how important my family is to me. And unlike Chelsea, with two people, there's a gaggle of people in the room next door, so they can't be on the screen with me. But I just want to say thank you so much for always supporting each other and supporting me on this journey of my community service and professional excellence. I am extremely honored to serve this great community and be connected to Athena, the Greek goddess, also known as the protector of the city. For someone with a personality like mine, all of this is a bit overwhelming. I am a borderline introvert, don't like a lot of attention, but sometimes you just have to stand in that light because there are other people watching and there's work to be done. And I am proud to say that I've had a chance to do some of the things that were just described on the video. Today, we're going to talk a lot about women, and I just want to say right up front that even though we're going to talk a lot about women, this is not to the exclusion of other underrepresented groups and men, because I firmly believe we're better together. Before I get into my specific comments, I also wanted to say congratulations to Chelsea, and we're going to hold you to the promise that you're going to keep giving back. We look forward to your ongoing leadership. So a little bit about how I think about this incredible recognition. When Mary Jane Judy called me to tell me that I was going to be this year's recipient, it was emotional for both of us. Mary Jane was very happy to tell me what was going to happen, and I was emotional because I hung up and I thought, how did I get here? How did this happen? And immediately I knew that for me, it started at home, because at home, we were taught that the community is an extension of our family. So we always look for ways to serve. We have role models who are public servants, educators, firefighters, military. We have healthcare professionals. All of those contributed to my early beginning to participate in the community. Now, that, as great as it was, still, I needed some more learning. One of the values of Athena, I needed more learning. And I also knew that somehow I had to figure out how to get back to the community. So as I thought about the Athena, I knew about some of the more recent recipients, but I went back to the Chamber website and wanted to see the other leaders that were there. And it wasn't surprising to me, but it was very emotional to me to see that Beth K. Smith was the first recipient of the ATHENA Award. Now, some may not know this, but Beth Smith was my community mother and mentor. And she took me under her proverbial wing to help me understand how I could lead in the community. Along with Marjorie Powell Allen, Beth and Marjorie were quite a duo. I'll tell you just a little brief story about them in just a second. But I knew I wanted to give back, but I wasn't really sure in what way and how to go about doing it. I knew I was interested in education because education was a game changer to overcome inequities. I also knew that I wanted to be part of helping women because from my own experience, I saw disappointment when women, especially African American women, didn't seem to advance or get opportunities. So I knew I wanted to participate in that way. But Beth and Marjorie really changed my direction. They put me on a different path. They put me on a better path. I was introduced to Beth Smith by Jim Judd at KPMG because Marjorie and Beth had just founded the Women's Employment Network. And they asked me to join the board because they needed finance expertise. And I did. And I remember making my first budget presentation at the Women's Employment Network. I was being asked questions, and I'd done a very thorough job, I believe, in working on the budget. But I was being asked a lot of questions, and I found myself becoming defensive. And that was not a good place for me, but I made it through the presentation and later received a phone call from Beth, inviting me to lunch with her and Marjorie. So I met them for lunch, and it was really, I walked in there not really sure what was going to happen, but I knew that Beth and Marjorie were trying to make a difference, so I was excited to be there. And my excitement was brought to bear because Beth quickly announced that you have great budget skills, you did a great job on that budget, and we want you to be the treasurer of the board of the Women's Employment Network. And then, in her usual fashion, Marjorie said, and here's how this is going to work. You are the expert. It is your job to help us understand what we need to know about our budget, where our money is going. Tell us the why the numbers are what they are. That's your job. You're the expert. And Marjorie, very, very direct, for those who knew Marjorie. And I walked out of there, actually, my head was down for a bit, but then my head was up because Marjorie had just given me feedback that I needed vitally to continue my own career. And today I would tell you that the advice that Beth and Marjorie and the opportunities they gave me actually put me on the path to eventually become the CFO at Black Veatch, because for the rest of my time at KPMG, I had time to work on my presentations. I'm only bringing this up because they cared enough to take me under their wing. And I was paying attention because I wanted to learn. So you never know when someone is there to watch. And Beth and Marjorie, you know, they not only encouraged me to be my best, they absolutely urged me to be my best. And then time went on. Beth asked me, Beth was the president of the WIN board. Beth asked me to be the president of the WIN board. I said, absolutely not, because I didn't want to be out front. I didn't want that attention. Beth sat me down at her home and explained to me the importance of women being involved in the community. She told me this story, amazing story, about how Eleanor Roosevelt inspired her when she was a young woman in college. Eleanor Roosevelt visited her college. Before it was all said and done, of course I said yes. Beth had reduced me to tears because I was so grateful that she told me that story. And I said yes. And shortly after that, given all of my vulnerabilities that I had just disclosed to Beth about why I didn't want to be out front, she said, and oh, by the way, you're going to do a speech at our annual luncheon and there'll be 1,000 people there. But it takes me to Eleanor Roosevelt, and Eleanor said, you have to do the thing you think you can't do. And so I did go on and become president of the Women's Employment Network, and it is forever etched in my mind and my heart for all the great work that gets done at the Women's Employment Network. Next, I met Kay Barnes at the Women's Employment Network, and ultimately Kay became mayor, asked me to work on the Liberty Memorial Project as part of the park board, and the experience there was some resistance, believe it or not, to the beautiful museum that we have today. I can't even imagine Kansas City without it. But what I learned when Kay appointed me to the park board was I knew clearly who appointed me, but I knew even more clearly who I worked for, and that was the citizens of Kansas City, Missouri, and our broader community. The last person I mentioned is Dr. Maya Angelou. Maya said, you have to have courage to live your convictions every single day. And I won't forget the day in the boardroom I was voted down 15-1. But because I had the courage to vote no, it fostered additional conversation and ultimately a better outcome. So all of these wonderful women taught me how to lead fearlessly, gave me lots of skills, and taught me how to give back. And today I want to honor Marjorie and Beth by giving back. I serve on the board of Commerce Bankshares, Snap-on Tools, and Livongo Health. The founder and chairman of Livongo informed the other directors and myself that he wanted to make a donation in our name to the organization of our choice. And because of the cycles that were broken by the work of Marjorie and Beth, I chose the Women's Employment Network because I think breaking cycles for women through self-esteem, and it helps generations, their kids and the kids after that. So today I'm really happy to announce that the Women's Employment Network, in the name of Beth K. Smith, Marjorie Powell Allen Legacy Circle, will get a donation of $50,000 to continue their great work. As for me, I'm going to continue working in our community. I retired with the hopes that I'd have time to do more of that and to be with my family. And I'm going to do that. You know, breaking cycles really is the game changer. And so for me, I will continue to work on education because I believe it's the cornerstone of racial equity. I'm going to continue to work on supporting women so that they have opportunities and ultimately also communicate or work in our community. I'm going to do both of these on a national scale to the extent that I can. I will say to you also that there are some cycles that shouldn't be broken. And what I'm talking about here is there's no more important time than right now for us to be together. We're better together. And the cycle that I'd like to see accelerated and intensified is inclusion. It's the secret sauce and us realizing our collective vision of our community serving everyone. This is really, really an important element, and I pledge that I will continue to do more. I have to do more, and hopefully in the coming days we can talk about how we can all be part of making our city better. So again, I'd like to say thank you for this amazing honor, and I'd like to close by looking in the camera here and showing you this beautiful Athena statue. And I am dedicating this statue to our dear mother, who was and remains our Athena and the protector of our family. Thank you so very much.
Please welcome Carolyn Watley, Vice President of Community Engagement at CBIZ and Chair of the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to congratulate again Karen and Chelsea. I'm struggling through tears right now listening to you, Karen, and Chelsea, you earlier. You two are just so amazing. You're both so very, very deserving of this honor. And we just thank you so much for all the work you have done and continue to do to lift up women and create opportunities in Greater Kansas City for so many. Your words were so inspirational to all of us, and we really, really do congratulate you and thank you for everything that you've done. We need some loud applause. But anyway, I wanted to thank also the Executive Women's Leadership Council for a fantastic Athena event. As both Polly and Mary Jane spoke about earlier, it's more important than ever that the EWLC and the Chamber continue to support and advocate for women in the workplace. The EWLC also leads this selection process, and even in the middle of a global pandemic, There was an incredible group of candidates. And with so many amazing candidates, it was a very difficult choice. And we also want to thank our sponsors, especially our presenting sponsors, Bank Midwest and KPMG, for supporting this event, especially during these difficult times. We all know this pandemic has been very challenging, doing almost everything differently, but different doesn't have to mean worse. So we're glad we've been able to connect here today and celebrate these two amazing women, even if it's not how we have done it in the past. We hope you'll stick with us and continue to make some connections here on the REMO platform. The networking will continue for another 25 minutes or so. Once again, congratulations to Karen and Chelsea, and thanks to all of you who attended today. Have a great evening and enjoy your networking. Thank you.